Hey guys, welcome back to Funny Blunt Truth. We're on episode 26. We have a very special guest, actor Kyle Hester. You want to say hi to the listeners, Kyle?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. And hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here.
Super awesome to have you on. Don's on a podcast, of course. Don, you want to shoot a little hello?
No, hey, just want to welcome Kyle. And thanks to everybody for listening.
Absolutely. So, Kyle has many credits on IMDb, many short films, features, TV series. His current project, I believe, I'm not mistaken, is Zombie with a Shotgun. How's that going, Kyle?
It's going good. I would say we're like 80% done with filming. I was just in Manhattan, a week ago, and maybe a week and a half, but I was just there, and so we shot a lot of it, and have to do a couple of other scenes. So we're gonna bring Braden, the lead actor. He's gonna come back there and then shoot a couple of other scenes and get this sucker in the can, man. It's awesome. A lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. You play Hank in the movie. Can you tell us like anything about your character without spoiling stuff?
Sure. Yeah, I think that my character is highly motivated to get this guy, Aaron, who's the lead zombie. And so it's basically my job to kind of track him down and find out, like, where this virus came from, and I think that that's part of the storyline, is like finding out, how it happened, where's the virus coming from, who's responsible, kind of all that stuff. So it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. We did have, the director and writer, Hilton Ariel Ruiz on the show, and he was a fun guy. He was awesome, super down to earth. We had a good time with him, and, he was telling us about the film. Don, I have questions for Kyle. Do you have anything you want to shoot right now?
Actually, there was something. You said you guys were about 80% complete. Now, just out of sheer data alone, 80%, like how much further time-wise, when you say you're 80% done, you got 20% to go, roughly speaking, like just out of curiosity for an independent film, like how much time do you think that is dedicated left to making it?
I'd say probably 3 or 4 shoot days. So it's just a matter of coming up with the funding for it, so that everybody, eats, and, it's like crew members don't work for free, especially when you're trying to make an actual movie, it's like you can get friends together for a weekend, to do shorts and stuff like that. But when you're asking somebody, it's like, all right, can you take off work? It's like, okay, you're going to pay my,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Everybody has to live.
So, yeah. Everybody got to live. Yeah. So, and that's what it's all about. That's what all these, the GoFundMe and, it's just, it's like nobody's getting rich off any of this. This is just like in the spirit of making independent films.
That was actually something else I was going to ask to jump in. What it's like being in independent films where you're not only the actor, but you're also playing like PR person. Like you're also, I think, you were helping promote it as well. Am I correct in that?
Oh, yeah. I among many other things, I think that, Hilton contacted me because of The Chair, which is a film that's being released here soon. It's a horror film. It was, Roddy Piper's last film.
Oh, he was so awesome. Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Rod.
Yeah, no doubt. He was a great guy.
So is it more difficult though to be not just like an actor in an indie film, but also to be, like a PR person actively campaigning, trying to get it out? Whereas I feel like in a more established film, somebody would just come in and do their job and leave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think absolutely. It's just, may I say shitload?
You can say whatever you want.
Totally
uncensored.
Yeah, man. It is a lot of work. It's a 24 hours a day kind of thing, cause it's not like I was actually just talking to this Wall Street guy today, who is going to be doing a movie, and we're going to be talking to him about maybe how to get involved, but that's for another day. But so he's got money, or the way to get money. And I'm like, I'm just an actor. It's like, that's where I come from, is acting. So I don't know money people. So basically everything that you see happening is all grassroots. It's all like, hey, my uncle's got a barn. Let's raise some money, you know, and let's make some movies. So it's like, so we've, like when I say, you know, no big Hollywood backers and, you know, all that kind of stuff is because it's true. Because if I knew them, believe me, I wouldn't do all this stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd just be making movies and you would hear about them, you know, when I'm done and they're coming out. So
that's awesome.
To answer, it is a grind. Absolutely.
Yeah. You have to be passionate about acting and film to stick with this though, because it doesn't sound like it's an easy task at all. I mean, I have a short background in short films and I write, so I get the hard work. And we were talking, before we were on air about 48-hour film festivals and stuff. And, it's not easy, you know, the indie scene like that.
No, absolutely not. But I mean, it's like, I think if you're aware of how the game has changed now, you know, it's like independent film is actually possible because of Twitter and now, you know, there's so many platforms to get your film on that people can see it. You know, it's like, it makes things possible if you're motivated to get something done, you know? No, so
that's actually interesting because
it's an exciting time.
I brought that question up to Hilton actually himself. I said, you know, I don't know if you listened to it, but I asked him, because of the advent of the internet, does it make it possible for this stuff to actually be a thing now where, you know, if you were to make independent films, let's just say even like 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I don't even think you'd have anywhere near the traction just based off internet alone, right? I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, you too.
No, definitely. Definitely. The game has entirely changed. I mean, basically, I can absolutely say that Zombie with a Shotgun was made possible because of Twitter.
That's awesome.
That's incredible. That's incredible. It's like we talk about you know, the new age that we're in right now, like with the podcast. Like back in the day, you know, your voice can't be heard like out there like for the masses unless like you had like a radio show, like actual like in studio, big budget. And now people can have their own show like on the internet, like, you know, on the cheap with a podcast. It's amazing. The technology and the internet right now, it's crazy.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it is fantastic. Kyle, I have a question for you. This is kind of a generic one. I'm sure you knew this one was going to come, but if you'd be so kind to explain, how did you fall into acting?
All right. I will tell you this. When I was in 7th grade, I was watching this TV show called Fame. I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's like the high school for performing arts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically I had watching TV, the show Fame, and there's this guy, Leroy, he's dancing on stage and jumping over mannequins and, you know, just having a blast. It's like, oh my God, that looks like so much fun. So I have to do that. And that's how it started. You know, so I got into like drama class and in junior high, and then I went to performing arts high school and went to Cal Arts. And so it's been like forever.
That's awesome. What's your acting approach, Kyle? Are you more of a method actor, or do you just kind of flip the switch like on set when it's time to go? I
hate method acting. So, I think, yeah, I think basically it's, you just let the character do its thing, you know? So I kind of get out of the way of whatever the character needs to do. So it's like, I take I just use kind of my body becomes like a vessel for, you know, whatever the character needs to do in the scene. So, and it's like, to me, it's simple. Like, you know, everybody knows how to cry, laugh, you know, get mad, be scared. Everybody, it's like, those are all things that we know how to do since we're babies, you know? So it's just like, okay, right now, this character is, you know, really scared because someone's going to come try to kill him or something like that. You know, so all you have to do is go, okay, I know what that feels like and I can be scared. You know, so then this is probably an oversimplification, but it's like, I don't need to, like, you know, bring up the fact that, you know,
dig down deep, your dog died or something.
Yeah, first you become sad, you know, in order to get there, because it's like, then you're not in the scene anymore. You're in your own head about your own shit. you know? So,
No.
That's why I don't like meth. But anyway, so yeah, that's what I do.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just find it fascinating that you said you don't care for method acting, because it seems to me that a lot of people who want to be actors hold it as the holy grail. And it's interesting hearing coming from somebody else who's like, it's not really all that great. Like, I just think it's always fascinating when we get different people's opinions who are actually in the industry, who are doing the thing. Especially like, so what would you have, like, an idea of, let's say, like a Daniel Day-Lewis? Do you think that's like too much? Like somebody who goes off and works in a farm for 2 years.
He puts himself. Yeah, you know what? More power to him. But I tell you what, my wife would force me. You know what I mean? It's like okay, I'm playing a serial killer, so I'm going to scare the shit out of you every day because I'm playing a serial killer. She'd be like, get the fuck out, you know?
That sounds great.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so, I mean, I don't think I'm crazy. And some people, it's like, that's how they let their crazy out by, like, I'm going to be this character forever, and I will not break character. Even during lunch, you will address me as this name. It's like, really, go fuck yourself. You sit over there, I'm going to sit over here, and then we'll meet when the camera's rolling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
So.
That's hilarious.
Anyway, so
what was that, Kyle?
Oh, no, I was just kidding. Did I say too much?
What, the F-bomb? No. You didn't say it enough.
No. Yeah.
Don, do you have a question, Don? You sound like you were going to say something.
No, I find the whole thing hilarious. I think it's great. It sounds very much like, everybody holds, and I think I already stated this before, but everybody holds that, like, the recently, Jared Leto, with the Joker thing, people could only address him as such, and, he was sending, I think, like, he was sending, like, used condoms to people. He was sending, like, pig heads and, like, all kinds of shit, and everybody's like, this is so amazing. And it's just great to hear somebody come on and be like, it's
a bunch of bullshit.
But, you know what? That's not amazing. That's horseshit. That is publicity, and that is when you start believing your own bullshit. I'm sorry, Jared. If I work with you, that'll be awesome, but I think that's crap,
Yeah.
So, but hey, at the bottom line, whatever works for everybody else is fine. And it's like, I actually don't talk about this much because I'm so opinionated about it. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's, if the playing field gets evened out when the cameras are going, so I think that it's my responsibility as a human to not be an asshole on the set while we're all trying to dispose or this thing, it takes a shitload of people to do this. It's like, everybody's got the same page. Everyone's got a job to do. The lighting guy's being just as brilliant as the camera guy. It's being just as brilliant as a makeup artist who just put your beautiful face on. It's like, it's a whole big team. Once you lose sight of the fact that it is a team, and then then you start building your own hype. I think that's where people kind of fall off of it.
Yeah, it sounds like all that crap, it's like a distraction, to be honest. And it may be good for him, but it sounds like it may throw off other actors from their game.
I completely agree, because then it becomes about, look at me.
Yeah.
Instead of like, I'll tell you this. So I'm shooting a scene in New York on Zombie, and it's like, and this is like towards the end of it, and it's this big scene, and and I meet up with him, and I catch him, and I'm angry, and we kind of wrestle around, and it's all this kind of stuff, and there's a lot of lines, and I'm freaking exhausted because we've been going for 9 days straight, and it's like I'm forgetting lines, and it's like fuck, it was a struggle, to get through the whole thing. But so I'm like pacing around, and I was thinking, and it's like, okay, I gotta bring myself back into focus here. It's like, and then it's like I remind myself that it's like Hank Gray, the character that I was playing, doesn't care if you're tired. I was like, it doesn't have anything to do with him. So get the fuck out of Hank's way, do what he's got to do in the scene, and then you tired in the corner.
Yeah.
You know? So that was like the pep talk that I had to give myself to get through the scene, you know?
That's hilarious. That's a super interesting approach. Like that's awesome.
Fantastic information. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Kyle, what do you like most about the business, and what do you dislike the most?
God, you know what? I think I've been doing this for so long in so many different capacities. I just love the magic of the whole thing, you know, of like creating something from nothing, of making people feel things that they wouldn't before. You know, it's like those lines, the moments that you remember, you know, it's like from The Shine, Jack Nicholson walking up the stairs and he's like, put the bat down, Wendy.
One day.
You know, it's like you can,
love of my life.
It's like you can see that forever. It's like ingrained in your mind.
It's magic. It's magic on film.
It's magic. So when you can create that kind of magic, where you create memories like that are unforgettable, then that's what this thing is all about.
And these actors are like, they're immortalized also, you know, 100 years from now, like, come on, that scene's going to still be relevant.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's like, you know, I mean, how many scenes can you, even for Jack, you know, it's like there are probably 10 moments that you can recall, you know, that are like printed. You know, I mean, he's brilliant as an actor.
Oh yeah.
But so over a whole career, you get like 10 moments, people that are like ingrained in there. So it's like, for me, it's like, if I can get 10 moments like that, then I will be a success.
That's an awesome view on the whole thing.
What about the least favorite part? Because wasn't that your question? It was like your favorite.
Yeah, it was a
two
part. Yeah. He's getting to it, Don. He's getting to it. Calm down.
You know, I would say my least favorite part probably flows back to the earlier part of ego that happens, and where people, you know, kind of lose sight of what it's all about. And, you know, I've seen actors, friends of mine that, you know, coming up that like they do an A-list movie and, you know, they made $50,000. And so all of a sudden it's like they're not taking auditions, you know, because it doesn't fit what they think they need to be doing. And then they're turning down other stuff. And then their career is nowhere because they were turning down everything. So they don't do anything. So I think that it's like, there's a happy medium to kind of like having a career, you know, where you can make a choice about something, but not like I am better than all of this now, you know? So it's like somebody told me one time, say, Kyle, do one for you and then do one for them, meaning like big money Hollywood. And so I'm actually looking for the other for one for them. So if anyone wants to hire, I already got money.
Hey, I think Marvel Disney has a lot of spots to fill. A lot of superheroes and villains out there.
That's right.
Yeah, right. So you know, I'll probably get back into the agent game and start auditioning for things here soon. But I've been a little busy.
That's great.
So, but so basically, the bottom line is ego. That's what I don't like happens. And money, you know, from the other side of the camera, it's like, I've seen films fall apart when money became real, or I'm using air quotes right now, you know, so it's like people lose their fucking mind when
changes people.
Money, it changes people. And I've seen it happen many times. And this is a conversation that I had with Hilton, and it's like you really have to be a grounded individual through all of the insanity of being an artist to be in this business for the long term. You know, it's like you look at these actors who, you know, have a little bit of success and then they're dead because they got hooked on drugs. Yeah. And it's like fucking devastating. It's so sad. Like a few of my actors that I really, really liked, you know, Heath Ledger.
I was just going to mention him. Yeah. How about, old school River Phoenix, not to cut you off? I think he overdosed, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, that's sad. That kid had such a promising career.
He did. And so it's like, it can be big. So I think that, everybody should just come talk to me. I'll straighten you out.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
No, I totally get you. One of the difficulties, Kyle, like on my lower level, acting experience, is, it's, when you do a movie, it's almost like you're a part of a band. You have to jive. And one thing that I found difficult, is if, like a director has like a certain vision and you as an actor, you want to interpret the character like the way you want to, that way you're comfortable with. And then you can have a director that kind of micromanages everything and like wants you to do it a specific way. And there's other directors that kind of let you run with it a little bit. Like what do you prefer? Like somebody to kind of really dictate how they want the scene done, or that lets you like kind of run with it and you flesh it out?
Well, that's a good question. I think I'll give you an anecdote. I did a film like a bazillion years ago called Andersonville that was on TNT, and John Frankenheimer, who was the director of that. And so you know Frankenheimer?
Mm-hmm.
Do you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Birdman.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, Birdman of Alcatraz, The Train. So he was like, the guy back in the 50s, who won a bunch of awards, and he's an amazing director. So I'm working with him, and he says, in this one scene where basically, the prison camp we're all free, from the prison camp, and, all the prisoners are going to be left free. And so he brings a book over to me and he says, Kyle, look at this. This is what we're going for. And he showed me a picture of like these Civil War guys that were like dancing a jig, It's like, and that's all he had to do to give the image of what he was looking for. I think that it's important for a director, a clear vision of what they want. It's like you got to see the end result, So there's a dance, So as an actor, you need to understand what the director is going for his vision, so that you fit that into, your character. So I think that, if I say, well, this is how I see it, so then it's like, that can be tricky.
Yeah.
So I think it's a dance. It's a dance.
That's actually pretty interesting, because there's a story of Tom Hiddleston. Hiddleston. He was shooting a movie with Steven Spielberg. And Hiddle Swift. He was shooting a movie.
He's dating Taylor Swift.
He was shooting a movie with Steven Spielberg, and I don't remember what the name of it was, but it was old school, and they're men on horses, English era, going around, and it's this whole thing that all these guys on their horses and this pomp and circumstance, and they're going into war. They do all this training, but it's very, very kind of, valiant, but also it's kind of like, not real gritty, nitty gritty, war fighting. And, in a scene where they're on these horses and they come across these cannons for the first time, they actually see like artillery. And, Tom Hiddleston goes, the best piece of acting advice I ever got. Steven Spielberg said, as soon as you see those cannons, I want you to turn into a 6-year-old. And, it's interesting because it's very similar to the story that you said. It was just a little piece. And he goes, that's all he gave him, and that's all he needed. And that was that. And he goes, best piece of acting advice he ever got.
Turning into a 6-year-old.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it just turned into a 6-year-old. So he sees it, that's face goes back to a 6-year-old. He knew he was in trouble. Boom, cut scene, done. Wrap it.
That's interesting.
Nice.
Kyle, I have another question for you. This is kind of a deep one. So, like I said, we had Hilton on the show, a couple of episodes back, and we asked him, making it into the business, like, what would you attribute that to? Like, is it pure hard work? Is it luck? Is it connections? And he said that a big part of it was luck. He said, don't get me wrong, you gotta work hard, but a shitload of it is luck. What's your view on that?
Yeah, I would say that's a big part of it, because it's like, man, I know so many people that are, it breaks my heart. I know so many people that are brilliant, that are really good. Like I went to school with these actors at Cal Arts who were just fucking phenomenal. You know, like everybody should be famous. Everybody should have won, you know, an Oscar, you know, and all this kind of stuff. And to watch people never get the shot or never, you know, have that opportunity to be in front of like more people so that, you know, so that people give a shit who you are, you know, and I think that, you know, it's like, man, people come to LA and, you know, most people will leave within 2 years of coming here.
It's too heartbreaking, right?
It is. It's heartbreaking for me because I see, you know, I see people come here and give up, you know, and it's like, I'm sure that happens in New York and Chicago and, you know, it's like, that's why, you know, if you follow my Twitter site, you know, I'm always like, just keep going, you know, because you never know, like what that next door is that the one, you know, or is this the person who give you the opportunity or that knows somebody or whatever, you know, but it's like, I guarantee you something, if you give up, it's definitely not happening.
Right. Yeah.
So there's an interesting lead-in actually that I just thought of is Edward Hong, who we had on previously. He's an actor and a blogger out in Hollywood. He says one of the hardest things for him is to see somebody he went to acting class with or who's just like a acting compatriot who, you know, everybody knows isn't that good, but for some reason starts landing like big gigs, like primetime TV spots or, you know, large budget movies.
Is that something? Spider-Man?
Yeah, is that something you've dealt with or have an issue with? Like somebody you know is just like, oh God, it's like watching somebody grind an axe, you know?
God, you know what? I understand the envy part, you know, of that and the frustration, you know, of that. But, ultimately, you know, people that aren't really an actor or they, you know, they don't have the chops that maybe you do, then they got that part for some reason. So they're probably like really good looking, you know, or they know somebody, you know, or something to that effect. And that'll take you as far as that'll take you. So it's like, so the way that I look at it is like, if that's the part of the luck thing, you know, it's like, oh, well, they got it. So that person is blessed with genetics. So, you know, they kind of step out of the shower and looking perfect. And others aren't that lucky, you know, so you got to have other stuff going for you. And I think that, that's part of it too. But I don't think about it, you know, you know, I have too many stories about like, you know, going to the fourth callback and whatnot and the producers sessions. And then, you know, somebody walks in I've never seen before, you know, kind of like glad hand the casting director. Hey, what's happening, man? Good to see you, bro. And like, they're the ones that get the part, and having never even been in there, you know, and then find out later, like what the story is. It's like, yeah, they knew somebody. So then it's like, okay, this is what it's about. It's about relationships and, you know, and not being an asshole. And so the more people that you get to know through the business, though, that becomes your network of people that you can, you know, can work for and with. And then, you know, once you have enough work built up, then other people outside of your network will know who you are and maybe give a shit and maybe want to work with you. So it's like, that's how it kind of like it expands. But, you know, you can get by on whatever that reason is that you got that part that made, you know, that other actor upset. You can get by on that for so long. But it's like, if I got upset because of every person that got a part because of me, it's like I'd have quit a long time ago. Yeah.
You almost gotta just like focus on you and your path, right?
Yeah. And create your path. You know, it's like if there is no path and you're like crazy enough to want to sit there and try to build up your own following and, you know, put some shorts out there and put some funny stuff out there and get YouTube channel and do that stuff. It's like sometimes you have to create your own situation, for people to know who you are. I mean, like there's this movie Book of Daniel that I was in a couple of years ago. And there was Lance Henriksen and a few other people that are amazing.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Little Bible story. Yeah. And so I didn't have an agent at the time, and I was like on Facebook, and I was like fucking around in my backyard, and I did this little video, which you can find on YouTube if you look up Book of Faces and Kyle Hester.
I actually
it's like
saw
30
that.
seconds.
I saw that. It was
okay.
great.
So, thanks. So that was just after a run, and I came in my backyard, and I'm like, this is what I'm thinking, so I'm gonna do something silly, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I did that, and then I heard about this film that this casting director was doing called Book of Daniel, and I said, "Oh, you got to see this." Mm-hmm. So I showed her that video, mm-hmm. and then she brought me in for an audition based off of something that I was just messing around in my backyard.
That's crazy.
Creating your own, yeah, that is crazy.
Wow.
And so it's like, and it's just doing it, you mm-hmm. know, just mm-hmm. going like putting it out there, you know, because if you're an actor, nobody's gonna know unless they see.
Mm-hmm. So nothing happens on the couch, right? You know, you got to get up and put the work in.
That's right, and I think that's where a lot of people will fall short because it's not easy. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you can, once you can kind of accept the fact that like, all right, this is a grind. And mm-hmm. it's not going to be easy, and it's going to be full of a lot of heartache, and you know, and a lot of disappointment, and a lot of, you know, why didn't I get the part, and why don't I have any auditions, and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And once you can accept that it's mostly that, then the other stuff becomes the reward for all of that bullshit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you probably also have to have really thick skin, you know, because you're probably going to get rejected quite a bit, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that that's a big part of it. You know, it's just, you know, water, ducks back, next, and that's, believe me, easier said than done. You know, it's like I didn't write the book on how not to feel anything. You know what I mean? So
unless you're like a sociopath, like, you know, by nature.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know? And that I am not. So,
Don, I have another question for Kyle. Do you have something?
No, shoot, okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just fascinated listening to the stories. So.
Yeah, this is great. I'm so fascinated also. So Kyle, this is a big question. What's your end goal in the acting business and the industry? Like when it's all said and done, when you're done, what do you want to be known for? What's your main motivation or end goal?
Man, you're going to make me get all deep here. All right.
That's what we do.
Well, my main goal would be to make enough people happy like Gene Wilder. Mm-hmm. Like if I can check out be respected for what I did and bringing joy to people for the roles that I did, then that's the goal. Mm-hmm. So however that happens, you know, whatever the roles are or whatever, that's it.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Of course, like, money wouldn't hurt also, right? But I feel,
you know what? I think, you know, look, money is so we all have to make it, you know, somehow. Mm-hmm. And, hopefully that ends up happening. You know, it's like right now I don't know, you know, how all that's going to happen, but you know, my bills are paid, and so I'm okay. Yeah. You know, and I think that, you know, it's like the simple things, and if like, you know, my wife and I look at houses in the Hollywood Hills as our like dream, you know, like, oh, I want a castle this big, you know, or whatever, you know, but it's like, it's so far away, you know, but it's fun to think about. But it's like, you know, we're just kind of living life, and then, you never know, you know, it's like the proverbial bust could happen at any point. Yeah. You know, it's like I know, you know, a couple of people that, you know, they're my wife's schoolmates that, you know, 2 people in a period of 2 weeks passed away in their sleep from a heart attack.
Jeez.
You know, it's like holy shit when that like yeah, crazy. And it's like when you start thinking, like, you know what, you just got to do the best you can with whatever time you have.
Yep.
Never know.
Yeah, that's my big. Sorry to cut you off, Kyle, but that's like my biggest fear. Like, you know, I experienced like death like early on, like when I was a kid. So it affected me in a way where, I knew at an early age, like how limited our time is. And my biggest fear in life is, not making a mark in this world, kind of like checking out and just being another person that lived and died and forgotten, but
here's Dave. Boy, he worked a lot in his cubicle.
Yeah, I mean, that's my biggest fear. And yeah, life is just short, man. You have to live in each moment and try to find happiness. And, but going back to acting and the arts and everything, I think your heart is in the right place, Kyle. Like, that's how we feel about the podcast. Like, of course we want to just absolutely blow up and be like as big as a Joe Rogan podcast, but, our main goal is to like, entertain people, get our opinions out there and have like really awesome, interesting guests on. And I feel like as long as we keep doing that, we're going to always be okay, and with you love acting and you want to inspire people and entertain them. So and make them happy. That's awesome.
Right on. Well, you know what? It's like, just keep going. And I understand, those fears that you were talking about. And those things, affect, it's like everybody has their own story. And I would say that like I was equally affected by, death when I was young. Mm-hmm. And, so it's like every day, it's like, you never know, totally. So I feel you on that. And I think that, mm-hmm. We can, so like I told you what my, the end goal is. And that's a pretty big end goal. Mm-hmm. Will I ever do that? I don't know. But it's like, mm-hmm. and I think that, your end goal is similar, mm-hmm. to make people happy, and, and to spread some positivity in the world. Yep, totally. And I think that as long as that is the goal, mm-hmm. then you're doing it already, man. So mm-hmm. you can take the weight off of your shoulders. It's like mm-hmm. you are already making those moments that you're mm-hmm. talking about wanting to create.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, Kyle. We've talked about this in previous episodes, like, what is success? So many people compare their lives to other people. And then if you do that, you're always going to play catch up and feel like shit about your life because there's always going to be somebody with more money or more quote success, You got to kind of be happy with what you got and just run with it, we covered that before. So that's how do you feel about that? About comparison, like comparing your life with others?
Well, I think that's a big, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. That's the big challenge of how not to do that. Cause, once you can get locked in that and then you're in the jealous game, mm-hmm. and that just saps so much energy. It's like it takes your mind off of what you're actually trying to accomplish. Yeah. Because now you're worried about the fact that somebody else, got something mm-hmm. positive for them. So, mm-hmm. I think that, and you know what? Nobody's going to hand anybody anything. Mm-hmm. It's right. Like, that's something that I've learned as well, mm-hmm. Through, helping out my friends and getting people parts and hiring people for jobs and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And it's rarely reciprocated. And I think that once you realize that, then it's like, oh, okay. It kind of takes the weight off. But it's like yeah. at one point it was like, you know what? This is bullshit. Mm-hmm. It's like I'm seeing all these other people working and doing things, and I did this for them, and why aren't I there? And all that. And that's human nature, and that's probably true. Mm-hmm. To be pissed off about those kinds of things. But it's like once you realize it, like you know what, people don't really remember and pay back. Mm-hmm. It's like when so I'm gonna so copy, credit, meal. That kind of thing, mm-hmm. I'll hook you up on the next time. Mm-hmm. There's not a next time. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like the reason that you do something is because you want to do that mm-hmm. for your own reasons.
Yeah. With no want of like reward later on.
Yeah, exactly. So then that way it's like, it's kind of Zen. Mm-hmm. It's like you pick it up and you work with it at the time and then you put it down and leave it alone. And it's like whatever happens with it happens.
But no expected reciprocity.
Yeah, I'm a...
Yeah. And,
Go ahead, guys.
I just wanted to hit on something here. I know we're all like kind of talking over each other, but I wanted to jump back a little bit. I think what's interesting that when people pursue something like entertainment, whether it be acting, directing, or even us with a podcast, when you guys were talking about seeing death and saying, you know, well, that makes me want to go do this. And, you know, I experienced it early on and I'm afraid I don't leave a mark. I think there's a certain personality type like you, like us, where something like that, instead of necessarily depressing us, pushes us to want to accelerate even further and faster to get towards those goals. Saying, you know, like, I feel where most people, when we're in this discussion, I know I'm going a bit existential here, but when most people, when they experience death near them, this is so sad, you know, this is terrible, and then they just get hung up on that. Whereas people like you, Kyle, Dave, or myself, we see something like that and we go, holy shit, we need to make this happen, because if I'm going to die even young, I want it to be doing what I want to do. And just to put a point onto that, there's a band that I listen to called Architects, and they're out of the UK. They're really small. No, not small. They're big in the underground, but recently, I mean, I'm talking like maybe like a week and a half ago, their lead guitarist and songwriter died 28 years old of cancer. And I don't mean to bring this podcast down to like a seriously low level. I was pissed. And I mean, I was like really upset. And I don't normally, Dave, you know me, I don't really get upset about like celebrities dying, you know, it's like a thing, you know, whatever. For me though, they really hit on social topics that I care about, you know, not just like facade stuff. And I'm, why did they have to take this person? Why did he have to die? But something like that, you know, I realized after a few hours of moping around that he died doing what he loved. And that makes me want to do this more. And I think it's the same for you two. I don't know if you feel that way, Kyle, as well. Like seeing something like that go, well, if I'm going to die young or whatever it is, I want it to be doing what I'm doing, like, you know, acting or whatever.
Yeah, you know, I think that, well, I tell you, okay, on a personal level, my father passed away when I was 7. So he was 27 when he died. So that kind of set the bar for me at a really young age of like, wow, what, you know, that happens, you know? Mm-hmm. So man, I tell you what, it's like, when I turned 25, it's like I went through severe anxiety. Mm-hmm. You know, I was having anxiety attacks because I was like, okay, what do I have? You're like, I'm going to die, you know, because that's what happens, you know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's like all those things create who you are, you know. So, you know, so yeah, so I think that it's all kind of in there, you know, once you experience those things. And that's why, you know, it's the same kind of thing with all these soldiers coming back with PTSD, you know, and dealing with that. It's because, you know, the human experience is a fragile one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kyle, I could totally relate to you. You know, my dad died when I was 11. He died of cancer. And then like a month later, my grandfather died and my dog. So, you know, I mean, I just dealt with a lot of stuff growing up, and it's like, it sounds messed up to say that everything happens for a reason, because there are a lot of terrible things that happen, you know, to good people, but it kind of molded me. I also grew up, you know, without a stable, you know, family environment. So like it kind of, you know, it created a positive for me going forward, because I'm not married yet. I don't have kids, but it kind of made me want to have like a secure, stable family, like for my kids when I do have kids, because I didn't have that growing up. And then, you know, as far as like appreciating life, I probably appreciate it more than most people because I experienced death at such an early age, you know, so I 100% live in the moment. So I think it's like a mindset. I think some people kind of just let despair and sadness take over them, and they look at the bad side of things, and it takes time too.
Haven't you ever noticed though that there's a lot of people who are pursuing their dreams that use that as an accelerant instead of like a hang up? Dave?
I don't know if I've like noticed that, but I can see that because, in my case, it has that effect on me. Like I have this it's like a low level paranoia that I'm going to die.
To. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm getting to. And I think it's interesting that throughout the people that we've interviewed, and yourself and myself, that it's one of those same shared traits that we all have. But to bring it up on a little bit of a lighter note, it's about that time in the show, the time that everybody loves and nobody's free of. Kyle, I don't know if you've listened to this show before, but we do this thing called Rapid Fire, and it's going to be pretty simple. I'm just going to ask you to answer as fast as you can off the top of your head, however you want to, pretty much. It's your game. But the example will be like, if I ask you something like whiskey or tequila, you would give me?
Whiskey.
All right. See, that's how it goes. So we have a couple of these. So just try to hang in there with me. So another one, falling out of a plane or falling out of love?
Oh God.
Which one's more severe?
Which one's more severe?
Yeah. Which one would you, sorry, which one would you rather have? My apologies. Falling out of a plane or falling out of love with someone?
Falling out of a plane.
Sounds like a good plan. With or without a parachute? Yeah. That's not part of the question. I was just saying either way. Okay, so let's go for another one. Paper or plastic? That's an easy one.
Paper.
Okay. Movie musical or opera in a theater?
A movie musical.
All right. Would you have a cactus plant or a ficus tree?
A cactus or a ficus?
Yeah.
Cactus.
Cactus it is. All right. So somebody hands you the 3-flavored Neapolitan ice cream. You can only have one flavor. Which one do you pick?
Oh, geez. Chocolate.
Chocolate? All right. Now, this one, we carried it over from the last one. I liked it so much I wanted to try it on this one. Would you rather have 100 duck-sized horses or 1 horse-sized duck?
What in the bloody... Don, you're not allowed to do these anymore.
100 horse-sized... No, duck-sized horses. Yes, I would say that. I would like to have 100 duck-sized horses. Thank you. Could you please deliver them?
Okay. They'll be right over. We're going to ship them, but it's going to be snail mail, so hopefully they're still alive when they get there. Would you rather watch Battle Royale or Hunger Games?
Hunger Games.
Ooh. All right.
Jennifer Lawrence, man. Jennifer Lawrence. I thought he would have picked that too.
Yeah. All right. You have one choice of music for the rest of your life. You're stuck somewhere. You have nothing else. It's either going to be, due to a madman giving you these choices, either polka or speed metal.
Speed metal.
Sweet.
All right. Good stuff. Tropical Island or Snow-Capped Mountain?
Tropical Island.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. We're going to add something on to the last one?
I was just going to say, yeah, if I had polka for the rest of my life, I would go insane. So, but
probably
yes,
have a short life. I would kill myself, I think.
Yeah. Amen to that. All right. I got one last one. I worked on this one today, so bear with me here. A year from now, 2 studios come up to you and offer you scripts that have conflicting schedules, i.e. both movies are shooting at the same period of time. The first movie is looking like it could be an Oscar contender if pulled off correctly with the director and crew. The second movie is a tentpole action picture with the potential to become a franchise. Which one do you sign?
Oscar.
Yeah. Nice. That's the artist in Kyle right there. Yeah. I figured that one. All right, Kyle.
That was you survived.
Kyle, you've been gracious enough to be on a podcast for a bit now. I promise I only have a few more questions for you. So if not an actor, what else would you want to be? What's your dream job besides acting?
I have no plan B.
Okay, awesome. And that's why you're successful. There's no surprise. It's like acting or bust. That's kind of like, isn't that what Everett Hong said?
Yeah, I think that's what a lot of celebrities say, actually. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want a backup plan because then I'll go to that backup plan.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, I got a fun one for you, Kyle. So, I don't know if you want to share this. I'm pretty sure you got a lot of experiences, but what's the funniest or worst experience on set or just in the acting business for you? If you can elaborate on a scenario.
The funniest or worst experience on a set?
Or both, whatever you want to talk about.
I would say, the the worst experience I had on a set was dealing with a prima donna actress.
Oh, jeez.
And yeah, and well, like everybody else was so cool and, working and, we're all in this together. And then there's this one lady who was just like not at all like that and very difficult with everything. And it was just like, oh, so yeah, that.
So was it like, is this water tap? It was like one of those, like completely just like snooty or just like,
or like, I can't work under these lights. They're too bright.
Are these halogens?
Yeah, kind of all of the above. Yeah, but I mean, none of those specifically, but that's the vein. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
So is it bad when somebody's a prima donna and they're completely unknown?
That spells the end of your career.
Oh boy.
Seriously, I mean, it's like if you're not, Sharon Stone, then and you can demand, tap water from the Alps because they know that they're going to make $1 bazillion because you're in the movie. But if you're nobody, if you're just, another pretty face, there's millions of them, so then that's it. You're done.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure, like, it's like how bad news spreads, like, more than good news. So I'm sure if you're a pain in the ass on set, other directors and film people are going to get wind of that and be like, nah, we're going to pass on that one.
It happens all the time. All the time. My number, basically if I could give advice to anyone that's listening that wants to work in this business, don't be an asshole. That is number one thing.
That's hilarious. That's like almost verbatim what Edward Honk said. He said the same thing. He goes, the key to success, I think, basically is like, don't be an asshole. I think he said the same thing. That's hilarious.
That's funny.
So, I'm sorry, you're gonna say something, Don?
No, I just think just don't be an asshole in life, like I was saying. I think that just pays dividends to no end. We discussed it with Edward, and I think you're pretty much hit the nail on the head. There's a lot of really, a lot of people think actors are fake. There's a lot of genuine people who still send out thank you cards at the end, like once they get the gig. So I think not being an asshole in general, but also in the acting world, probably important.
Yeah, it's like the toes you step on today are connected to the ass you're kissing tomorrow. Like, you got to think about
especially Hollywood is such a tight-knit area.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like the community is really close.
You know what? I tell you what. This is once you're working. It's a small business. It really is. So yeah, it's easy to keep working or to not keep working. Once you get in it.
So Kyle, I have one more question for you. So this is a fun one. It's probably deep also. If you could work with anyone, alive or dead, fellow actor, director, whatever position, if you could work with anyone, alive or dead, who would it be?
Spielberg.
Awesome. So is Spielberg, your favorite director? Is he he's up there, right? Obviously.
Yeah, he's up there. He's up there.
Yeah, he's an
I
absolute
think that,
legend.
he just, he captures, the essence, of like whatever he's doing, man. It's just like magic. He's just one of those magical directors that I would love to work with.
He is he's in a lot of my top 10 films, Jaws, Jurassic Park. I mean, Jurassic Park is one of my favorite movies of all time, and it holds today. It's so good that if somebody says Jurassic Park sucks, I will forever question your sanity and your taste in movies. I won't respect you. There's no way that movie's bad on any level. But
that is funny. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome answer. Some of my other favorite directors, I love crime films, and Robert De Niro is my favorite actor. So Martin Scorsese, love him to death. I love James Cameron. Quentin Tarantino is awesome to me. Who are some other directors you like, Kyle?
I love Quentin Tarantino. I'd like to work with him. He's kind of he's a nutball, but in a good way.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I would say that to him. So
yeah, he's great.
But like I said before, you got to be a little crazy to be in this business anyway.
What I love about Tarantino, Kyle, is that he's fearless, man. Like the guy he writes what he writes, he puts it out there, and he's awesome. He's so raw and quirky. Yeah, he's up there. He's gonna go down as one of the greats to me. He's already a legend in my book. But
very much so, yeah.
Don, do you have any other questions for Kyle?
Not off the top of my head. I actually had something earlier, but I forgot. We got caught up in everything.
Right.
No, I don't. I just really appreciated having a good show, man. This has been
it was
fantastic.
It was great having you on, Kyle. So Kyle, any future projects you want to plug, and where can your fans reach you? We're also going to put links in the description of the episode.
Okay, fantastic. Let's see. Well, you can reach me at the best place is Twitter, which is just at kylehester, which is my name. And got Zombie with a Shotgun happening right now, and that's at Zombie WA Shotgun. There's another film called The Chair that I talked about earlier that you can find them at The Chair Horror. And then the one that I'm going to be coming up and launching in Yogo is Preacher 6, and that's coming up in October. And
awesome.
So that's at Preacher 6. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Sweet. We'll definitely keep an eye out on those. So Kyle, it was an honor having you on. You were great. So down to earth, really cool guy. So that's going to probably wrap up episode 26 for the people listening. Don, you want to take us out?
I can. I'd like to thank everybody for listening, just like you did. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram at Funny Blunt Truth Podcast. You can get in contact with us on Gmail at funnybluntruthpodcast@gmail.com. Subscribe on Instagram, or not Instagram, roll cut, rewind. Subscribe on iTunes. Sorry, iTunes is really critical for people like us, a growing young podcast with lots of ambitions. When you guys subscribe through iTunes, it really helps us out. Comment, rate it, whatever you can. We'd like to thank Kyle Hester. Sorry, I'm screwing this all up. I'd like to thank Kyle Hester for being on the show.
It's great podcasting right there.
Yeah. It's all good, man. The mistakes make it, give it character, as my grandmother would say. But for Dave, myself, Don, this has been episode 26. Thanks for listening.